Name's Tracy. I don't know whether you just caught what I was doing just earlier on, just being a bit silly. My name's Tracy. Welcome to our kitchen, and hello to everyone watching on Facebook and YouTube and the Cooks Collective live stream page. If you're watching us, give us a quick thumbs up or a little hello, comment if you would like, or ask us questions. This video is for you so that it gives you a little bit more inspiration during the week to cook something delicious. Today we have Hayley back in the kitchen.
Hello.
Ta-ta. She was very popular last time. Only I can say that because I'm her mother. So I think most people that I met over the past over the past 4 weeks, Hayley, have actually eaten your rainbow salad.
Very exciting.
Very lovely, isn't it? So today, what are we cooking today, Hal?
We have got a beautiful crispy skinned salmon. It's got beautiful Asian flavors. So we've got ginger, soy sauce, honey, sesame oil, and a beautiful marinade. And then it's with some edamame and cherry tomatoes. It's beautiful.
And so without further ado, I'm gonna plunge my edamame into the water here just while we're doing this. Do you want to just? We weren't going to do the edamame first, but
well, yeah,
we could do.
Whatever
So
you like.
edamame, look at that colour. It's quite phenomenal. Can the cameraman see that underneath on the camera?
Beautiful.
Yes, got it. So for me. Do you want to tell them about edamame, or shall I tell them about edamame first?
Well, what I found out when I was doing my research about edamame is it's extremely high in protein, and it's quite important for especially vegetarians to get protein, high protein sources of vegetables, because
they're not eating meat.
Yeah. Meat is the most readily available protein source for meat eaters, because it's so easily absorbed into our system. So meat is number one if you are looking for protein, but edamame meat. Did I say meat?
Yeah, meat and fish.
Yeah.
I always think, maybe two different things.
Per cup, edamame contains 18.6. Did I say grams?
I've got to make sure.
I'm going to make sure. Let me check my facts. 18.5 grams of protein. So it's extremely high for a vegetable, which I thought was quite impressive. It's also got a low glycemic index, so it's awesome for diabetics. It's not very high in carbs. So it's a pretty cool vegetable, really.
But it's a complex carb, isn't it, as well? So it's not a carb to be afraid of or to avoid.
No.
I mean, you've got to have
Definitely
have your veggies. I love the colour of them. I think they're absolutely brilliant. And in cooking, what I do is I tend to use them in place of broad beans, because broad beans, quite a lot of the time, you have to take off their leathery jacket. But these, I find, don't have, if you don't overcook them, they don't have that sort of floury texture that broad beans sometimes do, and some people don't like it. So just a couple of minutes in simmering water and these little babies are done. And the Soba noodle salad is sort of going to be a warm salad as well.
And I mean, it's beautiful cold as well. I've had this dish cold straight from the fridge, and it's still really nice, but you can heat it up, you can have it cold, you can have it warm.
Room temperature,
whatever tickles your fancy.
All right, so I'm going to take these broad beans, these edamame out now, and then I've just a little tip that we've got our water ready to go for the Soba noodles as well. So I'm just going to turn that down so we don't get any boiling over. So I've got my pan on.
Do you want to show them the ginger?
High. Yes.
Yeah.
I was just peeling the ginger earlier on. So this is part of the
beautiful
marinade. So I've got some fresh ginger, and I'm just going to use our lovely ginger grater here just to grate some, just to show you. I just peeled it with a teaspoon. Just take off that skin with a teaspoon. Sorry, I just did that without even thinking or showing anyone. So peel it with a teaspoon and give that a good old grate on our grater.
While you're doing that as well, I'm just patting the salmon dry. So our salmon's been in there for what? Probably about 20 minutes now. In the marinade?
At least, I would say.
So we advise the recipe says 10 to 20 minutes. But,
it doesn't need that long to actually, because of the flavours in the salmon, it doesn't, in the marinade, it doesn't actually need that long to permeate the salmon. But one of the ingredients is ginger juice. And we decided not to put the actual ginger pulp into the marinade because I didn't want ginger pulp sticking to the salmon. So when I cooked it really high, the ginger will burn. The ginger pulp will burn and it won't taste very nice, or taste really bitter. So just grate the ginger And I don't know whether the cameraman can get a shot of this. He's pretty clever though. Grate the ginger, take the pulp in your hand and just squeeze like that, and you've got ginger juice.
Beautiful ginger juice.
If you missed that, I can't do anything about that now, can I? So I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. So ginger juice is a good idea for a marinade rather than ginger, especially if you're going to cook it really nice and hot. So do you want to pop those beans into that bowl so they don't sit there all together and carry on cooking? So we're just going to, that's it. Can you see all that steam immediately coming off those so that it's they'll slow down with their cooking? And so I don't want to like make them go cold. Yeah, but
they'll stay warm for now. It doesn't take, it's a really quick dish to make. This is why I love it so much. It's just one of those dishes that you can sort of whip up. And it's a bit different. You know, a lot of the time I find myself cooking with chicken or mince or pork mince or whatever, but salmon's quite a nice one to have. And we've left the rest of the marinade aside. So we're going to use that afterwards and heat that in the pan to put over the noodles.
Meanwhile, I'm going to get this salmon in because otherwise it'll start getting damp again because the salt will bring out all the moisture in the salmon. So it's very important to have that pan nice and hot before you put the salmon in. And I'm even going to turn it up now because I can hear that's sort of, I don't want that to the pan to lower in temperature too much because I want to get that salmon skin nice and crisp.
That's
but
the best part.
having said that, Hayley's going to tell you a bit more about the marinade.
Yeah,
and
sure.
She's chopping up the tomatoes. She's amazing how she just gets into all of that sort of stuff.
So in the marinade, we've got honey, soy, light soy sauce. We did try it with tamari, and you can do it with tamari because that is a gluten-free option.
Yeah, you can definitely get gluten-free tamari. This is a great recipe for gluten-free people. We'll tell you about the noodles, but you do need to watch out for those noodles. So yeah,
the soy sauce, sesame oil, honey, and then of course the ginger. The honey that we're using today is a beautiful Southern Forest one. And have you visited the...
We have. Yeah. We've been down. We've met some of the bees, not all of them in the Southern Forest, because that would would take quite a while. But yeah, we have met quite a few of the bees. We know the apiarist does an amazing job down there, and it's so pristine down in the Southern Forest. Really, really like the idea of getting honey from down there. I know there's been a lot of. Oh, we're done. That's what I was going to say. Look, already.
Oh,
yeah. Take off. The middle ones are done. I thought my pan was quite hot. Okay, I'm going to move these over. We've got two different sizes of salmon, because one we had and one we went and bought.
Especially 4 pieces at once. If you're not as confident cooking salmon.
Can I just also point out how that's already halfway cooked? So I'm going to turn that one over. Probably it's the same for that one. Yeah. But these ones are much thicker.
If it is your first time cooking salmon like this, you could do one at a time if you really wanted to, couldn't you?
Definitely, because that's too dark. I just did that so it would show you. I was going to say on this, I very rarely burn things in the kitchen, just to say that. With this recipe is that you've got to be quite careful of it because of the sugar in the honey. So things will catch a little bit, but we still got some nice colour on there. That bit's going to be a bit nicer than that. I'm sorry, Hayley. I'm sorry,
Hayley. My recipe. No, it's okay. I forgive you.
Hopeless. I was trying to do it too fast. I'm going to put my Soba noodles in as well.
Yeah. So the Soba noodles we're using aren't 100% buckwheat. Traditional ones are, and that means that they are gluten-free. So buckwheat is a pseudo cereal. So it's not. Yeah, it's not a sort of. It's not a whole grain.
It's actually a seed.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's quite interesting, but you know that traditionally they are 100% buckwheat. So again, that's why this is a great dish option for, you know, someone having gluten-free. Some gluten-free recipes can be super boring.
and not have the texture as well. Yeah. I think some of the time with the gluten-free recipes, it's the texture that is the bit that people go, oh, you just can't get that texture.
Shush.
We're all right. So, Soba noodles.
Transfer.
I'm just going to do a quick twist like this, drop them in the pan, and then
they
just fall into the pan. All right, so they take 4 minutes. They're really quick. So by that time the salmon will be done. The little salmon with the not quite so thick salmon is very, very quick cooking. So they're actually done already, and I'm just going to, you can see the pinkness in that salmon, but it's beautiful to get a little bit of pinkness in there. Our noodles are in and done.
So I think the marinade's beautiful because it's, you know, these are great sort of ingredients to have in your pantry all the time if you want to cook Asian dishes. You can use them for all sorts of things. I think soy sauce especially, it's the Asian alternative to adding salt, really, isn't it?
Well, with the soy as well, we've used the Healthy Boy yellow bean soy, but if you've got kikkoman in your pantry, or if you've got a Chinese soy in your pantry, you can certainly use that. I just would like a plate. Would you just wash up that plate for me, and I can put the salmon on there? Sorry, how's just
Am I the nutritionist or the washer-upper?
Beg your pardon?
Am I the nutritionist or the washer-upper?
Oh, well, it's just like being at home, really,
it's
isn't
very
it?
glamorous.
Well, it's part of cooking in the kitchen, isn't it?
It is.
It's that washing up thing as well. So I just need a clean plate so I can take this. I've just turned that down too much. So I can take this salmon off the... that's it.
What we found as well,
Heat.
sometimes burning the salmon can cause the marinade to taste a bit bitter. So if you can avoid burning it, it is best to. But, you know, these things happen sometimes. It's fun.
And this is what it's all about live, isn't it? You've got to be terribly brave, I've discovered, to do live filming. So I'm going to just get a little bit of kitchen paper. I'll just disappear for a second. Kitchen paper, because I don't want that oil in the pan. But what we've decided to do as well is make sure that we've got the, use up all the marinade. I haven't got a bin. Use up all the marinade in the noodles themselves. So we have the marinade in the bag, and I'll pop it in there. Give that a little bubble around.
It's quite
Deglaze
dramatic,
the pan.
really.
Deglaze the pan,
some too.
spill it over the bench, whatever you want to do. Now that's interesting. It's not as dark as it was last time, is it? Ah, because we use the soy, not the tamari.
Yeah,
that's why.
And we first tried it with the tamari, and we weren't. I think it's better to use soy if you can.
Okay.
I prefer
this is just
the soy flavour. Everyone's different.
Because I spilt that, it's turned itself off. Okay.
So the awesome nutrients. I feel like I haven't even.
This is just
nutritioned everyone.
I know. We'll go for it. I'll just shut up because I'm going to drain the noodles.
So the awesome things, the main components in this beautiful dish, salmon has got a really high amount of omega-3. So you don't really find omega-3 in many other things apart from fish. It is in other things, but when I was comparing sort of foods to find omega-3 in, salmon was the highest. I think beef had a third or a fourth of the amount of omega-3 that salmon does. So
it's the best source of it, isn't it?
Yeah, best source of omega-3. And you know, you hear people taking fish oil supplements each day. Fish once to twice a week is really good.
And you're eating food as well. You're eating the food itself. So you're getting all the other benefits from it.
It's good for your brain
too.
Omega-3.
So I've eaten a lot of omega-3 in my life.
That's why
hence
really
I'm
smart.
so brainy. Yeah. All right. So look at the colours there as well. I always think that if you can, you know, if you've got these amazing colours in your...
And that's important in your diet.
In your
Eat
meal.
a variety of colours and you get a variety of micronutrients.
I nearly put that hot pan on your fingers.
My special... Wow.
Oh dear, dearie me. All right, so we're just going to serve this up now. All that lusciousness in there. We're going to pop all of this in there together. I'm just going to rinse these just a little bit, just to get rid of some of the extra starch. Because what you'll find is that they do have a little bit of starch on these, and then if you go to put them straight in to the bowl, they won't be nice and slippery like we really want them.
We've got our little sesame seeds here as well, ready to go. Sprinkle those through
salmon and sesame seeds. They're the black ones, aren't they? Yeah. I haven't burnt those by toasting them too much. Oh dear, in they go. Oh, we were going to salt. We were going to salt the tomatoes and the edamame because the soba noodles have got salt in them. So do check on the packet of soba noodles that you get, because otherwise you're going to get, if you cook your soba noodles and add salt to the water, you're going to get super salty soba noodles. But we do actually want to make sure that those edamame and the tomatoes are salted, because the edamame didn't have any salt in the water, because I was trying to save time and washing up by using the sieve and just blanching those first.
And where can you get the soba noodles from? Where's the best place to get soba
supermarket,
noodles from?
definitely you can get soba noodles from the supermarket. The ones with just buckwheat in are more health food stores.
Yep. And what about the edamame? Is that sort of in Coles or?
No, edamame is not in the supermarkets, out of the pods.
It
sometimes. Well, that's supermarkets.
If it was up to me.
That's supermarkets
if it was
for
up
you.
to me,
Yeah, if you owned a supermarket, it would be really good, Hayley.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Be rich.
I don't know. It might be a bit overworked. What were we talking about?
Edamame, where to get edamame?
Where to get edamame? Asian supermarkets. Do you want to put half in there?
Yeah,
and we'll
that's what I was thinking.
Oh, she's so good. So, I'll just eat that.
I know.
It'd be really nice,
I know. I mean,
so I'm going to try and we're going to swap spots, aren't we? I'm going to try and do a little Donna Hay thing.
Some fancy stuff. So yeah, edamame you find in the Asian supermarkets.
You tell them.
Asian supermarkets is the best place to find edamame. We did find you can get it in Coles, but they are in the pods because they're actually immature soybeans. They do come originally in these pods. So I mean, if you wanted to, you can buy them from Coles in the pods and then depod them, but that's a bit of a pain. There's usually an Asian health store near most people. I know, you just give it a Google and I'm sure you'll find one.
The other thing is you can actually eat them in the pods.
Yeah, I mean, it's become a bit of a trend.
Half the noodles, I think. It's a bit of a big
So yeah, this recipe feeds around four hungry people, but we're doing a
You give up. The cameraman's giving up. Am I meant to be here?
Yeah, no, that's where I put the plate, Mum.
Oh, sorry. I know, but I can't. Okay. Oh, I give up with the twirl. Yes. Let's move this, shall we?
Sure.
Move those out of the way. Black sesame oil we used. Beautiful southern forest honey.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to just pop some of these lovely edamame and tomatoes over the top. And if you want to, the other really nice thing to do is actually put a little bit of sesame oil actually on the noodles themselves. That's really nice.
Yep.
Which piece of salmon are we going to use, Hals?
I don't know, whichever you like.
I think you could. I think you could probably have 2 people eating this.
Yeah, and I mean when we
so many noodles on that.
When we took this recipe home, when we tested it, we actually flaked the salmon through the noodles. So if you want to present it like this, you can. But you know, for eating purposes, you can flake it through, and is
that better, cameraman? We're trying to
get the perfect shot.
Yeah, is that all right? Bit more towards Hayley,
so I can eat it. There we go.
So yes, we're looking forward to our lunch today because this is it.
I'm so hungry now.
Lots of goodness in that in the skin, and don't burn it. That's all I'll say to you, is just keep that heat down a little bit before you actually put the salmon in. We were sort of waiting for time to come, and I preheated the pan. I was probably a little bit overzealous with those brilliant pans heat so beautifully. So
but we learn from mistakes like this, and probably the first time that I cook salmon, it won't be the best. But
it's lovely, isn't it?
You know, you keep trying, and practice makes perfect.
I will keep trying, Hayley. I'll keep trying. I'm very trying. I know.
You haven't been cooking
but
for that long, so.
The good thing about that is that I can feel that it's got a little bit of pinkness in the centre as well, so it's going to be nice and moist and absolutely delicious. So I think your idea of flaking through is really good, but you don't want to. What you could do if you were the cook in your own house is flake it through and just stuff the skin in your mouth and just eat it first, and then sit down to nice flake salmon. I think that would be much easier, a much easier way of actually doing it. We're going to taste this. Okay, thanks, Bri.
Thank you, Bri. The assistant of the day.
Thank you.
Okay,
So we'll give this a little bit of a try. We'll just do a little bit like that. How's like that? And
like that.
Like that. And you go really gracefully like this, as if you're eating spaghetti. It's nice. It is nice, isn't it?
So good.
Soba good. Soba good.
Just hilarious.
So the recipe's on online now. So you can go and have a look at that. Haley's going to add her cook's notes to that with a few nutrition.
I'll add some few nutrition bits and pieces.
So if you go there now, it's not on the cook's notes if you're watching this live, but if you go there a little bit later on, then Haley's cook's notes with all the nutrition notes will be on there. Yes. So let's have a look and see if we've got any questions today. Or Sally
has asked.
Hi, Sally.
Edamame, fresh or frozen?
Well, I was going to say, I was speaking to Bri about this earlier, and we actually got them out of the freezer. You can store them frozen, but I think you buy them.
Buy them frozen.
Frozen.
Definitely frozen. I've never seen edamame fresh. They are, they are young soybeans. So I don't know if anyone knows. Maybe somebody knows a soybean grower in WA. Who knows? Or in Australia. Who knows? Not quite sure where these ones have actually come from. But Haley was talking about the edamame in the pods beforehand. And we use those in our Japanese class. And we boil them in the pods and put a little bit of sesame oil and a little bit of salt flakes on top of them. And then you eat them as a snack.
So good.
Yes, you eat them as a snack rather than chippies.
I know,
rather than chippies. Eat them as a snack. So you take the little bean, the little pod, and you put it in your mouth and you shut your teeth and you sort of like suck the beans out of it. So you get the outside is salty and sesame, and then you get these beautiful fresh green beans, the actual beans from the inside in your mouth, and you throw away the skin. You don't try and eat the skin.
Eat that one.
It would be amazing fibre, but it might come out the other end exactly the same as it went in. Hello. Hello,
Hi,
Kathleen. How are you this week?
Hi,
Ellie.
Hi, Jill. And
Oh,
James.
lots of people. Lovely to have you. Lovely to have you with us, and thank you so much for watching today. So, if you've enjoyed me burning the salmon, please share.
It's going to go viral.
Share it with your friends.
It's not very good salmon.
We'll enjoy the slightly, it is a bit dark black, isn't it? It's not even light black.
Okay.
Anyway, please share the recipe if you would like to on your Facebook page. We'd love you to share the love, and the recipe is available on our website for 7 days, and after that on the Cooks Collective. So next week, 12:30 Tuesday. Oh, let's just do what you were going to thinking about doing next time. So next time Haley's on, it'll be June.
It'll be a bit chilly. So I was thinking of doing a beautiful nourish bowl. So all the ingredients will be lovely and warm and nourishing and hearty. There'll be sweet potatoes, some brown rice, chicken. It's going to be beautiful, beautiful nourish bowl. It's going to have lots of the perfect balance of macronutrients, which is awesome.
That I
it's
love
what
a
you
perfect
want in a
balance of macronutrients, don't you? Delicious.
Yeah,
I'm sure she'll make it taste delicious. Absolutely. So next week we go from healthy, beautiful. I'm going to have a look in that. This is gorgeous, isn't it?
Okay,
healthy, beautiful salmon to very naughty, because we're coming up to Easter, but very naughty, but very lots of fun. Tanina Holder will be in the kitchen with me next week, and we're going to be making a triple layer chocolate mousse, but with a twist to it. We're actually using olive oil in the chocolate mousse. But before you say, ooh, olive oil in chocolate mousse, if you've never had an olive oil chocolate mousse before, you just won't believe it. It is really, really lovely. So actually, Bri, can you get me a gold and a pink Calais? We've just got some new chocolate in, just so that we get the balance between the health and the... here's Bri. Thank you. So we've just... started stocking from today the Calabo chocolate, so the beautiful Belgian chocolate. So we're stocking that in our shop. They do ruby calais, which are like little chocolate buttons that have got sort of a little bit of a raspberry-ish flavour. And they also do gold calais, which has got the, let's just rip it open. Bryce has gone, open it. And the gold calais, which have got like a caramelly flavour. So we're going to do gold and dark and milk chocolate, and then I think we're going to top with some curls or something funky with the rose. Well, we are coming up to Easter, and chocolate is sort of fairly traditional, so I think we have to do a bit of chocolate. And I'm also going to put out my top 5 favourite chocolate recipes on to our newsletter as well. So if you don't subscribe to our newsletter, go to our website homepage and go down to the bottom. You can subscribe to our newsletter. Don't miss out on my top 5 chocolate recipes that I am going to be doing. So remember to turn on your notifications on YouTube and Facebook so you don't miss anything, and enjoy the recipe this week, or if you're on the Cooks Collective, of course, you can join it. Enjoy it any time on the Cooks Collective.
If you make this dish, please take a photo and send it through to us. We'd absolutely love to see it
#Hayley.
as well. Sure.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone.